Hi Al. Got a couple of people asking me how I approach making the tracks with the hardware that I use. So to do a quick tutorial or demo just to give you an idea how my approach is and how quickly you can get something up and running. So I'm using two machines today. I'm using the DX200 and the Electron model cycles. So the DX is the master and I have the Electron hooked up to the slave. So there's 6 tracks that we're going to be using on the cycles, and I'm only using one track off the DX, which is like a percussive track. So I'll let you have a quick listen to that. So it's like a little percussive fill that I have going there. It's a 16-step sequence, and I just have like the snare fill at the end as a triplet. So that's pretty straightforward on that one. Next we move over to the cycles then, and we'll go through the tracks that I'm using on this. So the first track I'm using would be the kick drum. So it's a strong kick. I've sculpted this kick using the shape and the colour to get it to sound the way that I want. And I've just closed the decay down a bit because it was really booming, and I just pitched it right so it'd sit with the track better. And then I added a little touch of distortion just so it cuts through the mix and doesn't get kind of lost in the low end. Next up, I had a hi-hat channel. It's not a conventional type of hi-hat sound, it's more percussive, but it works well for this particular track. So this is the sound we're using for this. Sits nice in the mix. And the good thing about the cycles is with the 6 tracks on it as well, one of the main features that I use just to get different depth and different rhythms going on as well is adjusting the scale length of each one of the tracks. So just have a listen to the synth track that's next. Kind of creepy vibe off that one. And next up we have 2 variations of that synth track, which I'll let you hear. Next is the track 5 one, which is in unison what we're doing on track 1, which is the kick. So it's in line with that. We have a listen. Straightforward enough. And then the variation of this one is I've just pitched it differently and I've added different reverb with a different scale length, so it sits differently in the mix, overall in the sequence. Have a listen. So that's the sum of this particular track that we're going to try. So I'm just going to put all the parts in and let you have a listen and see what you think. That's with all the parts in then from the 2 synths, all the drums, synth parts, everything in together, and how it sits and how it's mixed. Have a listen again. scratch. A lot of the sounds are already in the model cycles that I was using. I've just tweaked like the kick drum, that percussive sound, kind of like a hi-hat we were using, a very straightforward kind of synth sound, and then 2 little variation synth sounds from that, just messing with the scalings of each one of these tracks just to give it a little bit more depth and a bit of movement as you're going through. And again, just from the DX, I'm just using a simple percussive little fill just at the end of a 16-step sequence. That's it, folks. Thanks for listening.